I love exploring forgotten games, and today I want to talk about one of the weirdest and most original World War II games I've ever played. So let me tell you about Battlestations Midway and why it's one of my favorite hidden gems. Battlestations Midway comes to us from Eidos Hungary, a short-lived developer with 4 games under their belt. Nexus: The Jupiter Incident, a space RTS, Creature Conflict: The Clan Wars, I have no idea what this is, and today's game, Battlestations Midway. There's also a sequel, which I'll almost certainly cover in a later video. Battlestations is one of those real-time strategy games where you control individual units. There aren't many of these, but I'm endlessly fascinated by them. You issue orders to various battle fleets comprised of attack planes, bombers, submarines, battleships, and aircraft carriers. But you can also assume direct control, which you'll want to do when you can, as the AI isn't the best. It's serviceable, but you're always better off doing the job yourself. If that sounds like a lot, there is a great tutorial that, if anything, is a little too slow. The game's not especially complicated, despite how it seems at first glance. And once you understand how it all works, which takes maybe 30 minutes, you'll appreciate the diversity. One minute you're avoiding torpedoes in a small PT boat, and the next you're dive bombing enemy ships. It's a lot like War Thunder, but not a nightmare game developed by Satanists. Graphically, Battlestations is simple but clean, which if you followed this channel, you know I love that style. I still toss and turn at night, remembering Deus Ex's piss filter.
I never asked for this.
The skybox here is beautiful and sets the tone. The water looks appropriately deep and spooky, especially when you're in a sub, and the way the bullets splash up in the ocean is just super satisfying. It has a distinct style while retaining a realistic look. I especially love the little touches, like the American flag blowing in the breeze, the rust on some of the ships, and the fire trails of downed airplanes. It's a gorgeous game that proves it's not about what you got, but how you use it. This is gonna sound like an exaggeration, but I would often stop playing and just notice the game. I mean, look at this. All the tiny units fighting against the colorful background, planes breaking apart, with flaming wreckage crashing into the ocean. It's mesmerizing. Like playing with toys as a kid, but instead of your imagination doing the heavy lifting, it's a video game. I think games are at their best when they can invoke that in me. When's the last time you stopped playing and just noticed a game?
Target's word! Right hand! We got him! Enemy squadron is down!
Scratch one airfield, sir.
The campaign follows the American point of view all the way up to Midway. There's 11 missions in total, but also a bunch of ship, plane, and submarine challenges if that wasn't enough. There's no Japanese campaign, but I'm pretty sure the sequel has that covered. Before every mission, you'll get a brief overview of the battle and what your objectives are. Destroying bases, defending battle groups, repelling waves of attack planes, there's a lot of variety. I can say that about the environment too. Even though the game only takes place in the same setting, basically, it does a great job keeping it feeling fresh. There's not really much of a story, but there is great characterization. I'm not sure if that's the right word, probably not. What I mean is, there's always chatter going on, which keeps the action feeling frantic. It just kind of adds a human element to the game.
That gun battery's gone live. Damn it, they're using our own artillery against us.
We are coming under enemy fire!
Which is important, because besides the little guys walking around your ship, there's no infantry. Vehicle combat games run the risk of feeling empty, I guess. They just can feel sterile, you know? You need people in your game, at least I think you do. So even though they're not really in the combat itself, Battlestations does a great job at making the battles feel alive. So how does the gameplay actually work? Well, you can swap to any unit at any time. You can also issue attack and defend commands for these same units. Maybe you gotta defend an attack group from enemy ships. You can use your sub to speed ahead and take them out before they even reach your own guys. I found direct control to be the most useful with torpedo bombers and subs. For whatever reason, the game does a pretty poor job with these. Otherwise, it's competent though. Unfortunately, you can't customize your units. I wish you could choose your units before a mission, but given it's based on real battles, I get it. It's also the first game in a series from a pretty small developer, so expectations and all that. Regardless, it's an awesome game. It keeps the scope relatively small and nails most of what it tries, and even excels in some other areas. You can find it on Steam for $7, and in my opinion, it's worth every penny. If you like this video, please consider subscribing. See you next time.